And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, CL Anthony, and my main man, Bryce Ward.
What's up?
Well, Bryce, we saw it. LeBron James is the king of the NBA,
Mhm.
the NBA's all-time scoring leader. What are your initial thoughts on seeing the festivities from last night?
Oh, it went down exactly like how I imagined it would be perfect for it to go down. Like the greats that needed to be there were there. Um, the way they handled it on the court, even though it was in the like there's still a game going on. I just felt like it went as perfect for LeBron as you could have hoped. If you're especially a big LeBron stan, I'm sure you had a great night. Um, No, kudos to him, his career, and for him to have success on and off the court. You love to see it too. The people weren't his teammates that were there for him. Celebrate this moment. Uh, Seeing him bring his family out, it was nice. Seeing him pay homage to the Laker greats right there, and everything. It was nice to see.
It was fantastic, and
Mhm.
I'm never going to turn down a chance to see Miss Savannah James on television. So just want to put that out there. He got that one right. He absolutely got that one right. But no, it was a great night. I'm happy that they paused the game for a few minutes um,
Mhm.
for the league and the world to celebrate LeBron James. For at least 20 to 30 minutes after that, my watch, my phone, my tablet went haywire with all kind of Twitter notifications with everyone in the NBA community, giving a shout out to LeBron, thanking LeBron, appreciating LeBron for the greatness that he has brought to the league for 20 some odd years now, which is insane. It's just insane that we are here.
Mhm.
We are finally here. It is absolutely insane. And kudos to you for coming up with your idea to break down LeBron's career leading up to this epic night because the timing was absolutely perfect. There was a clip of him at halftime. He had 20 points at halftime. There's a clip of him because he was mic'd up and he was talking to his sons and he was like, "Should I go for it?" They're like, "Yeah, go for it." And he was like, "All right, I just need to get 8 points in the third quarter and 8 points in the fourth quarter." The motherfucker went out there and
Yeah.
got 16 points in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So he was absolutely gunning for it last night. Um, I was a little ticked off at the end because I guess when the Thunder realized in third quarter that he was gunning for him, they were trying to play impeccable defense on him. I'm just like, y'all stop. Just let this man get this record. They were playing like trying to play NBA Finals defense on him. I'm like, stop it. Just let him get it.
OKC feels like they needed that win, so they were getting it.
Well, they got the win, but it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, when LeBron touches the ball, you can back off of him a little bit. Just back off of him a little bit. Let him get some open looks. But no, they were on him like white on rice, my man. But again, kudos to LeBron, the new king of the NBA, and I'm happy that Kareem was there. That was a good thing. Um, it was really nice. It was really nice. It was really nice. So moving right along, the trade deadline is tomorrow, and we've already had one big move. Kyrie Irving is now a Dallas Maverick.
Mhm.
Bryce, from the time that this last version of the Brooklyn Nets was put together up until now, it's almost like Kevin Durant is like that Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel Air meme where he's in an empty house looking around and no one else is around. What happened?
He bought into Kyrie. Everybody that buys into Kyrie gets burned, except maybe his like personal family or his wife, family, that kind of thing. Every NBA professional that seems to like uh go with him down some path seems to get left holding the basket by themselves. So um I'm not gonna sit here and act like I feel bad for KD when he left the situation and he's had the path in his career too. This is what these guys get. And to be honest, Kyrie can act excited to be in Dallas. If I'm a Dallas Mavs fan or a Luka fan or any of that, I am terrified. Because in my eyes, this is giving Luka the doorway out eventually. Not anytime soon, maybe, but I think Luka's gone because of this eventually. So we'll see what happens. I hope the best for everybody. But Kyrie said something, that he felt at sometimes disrespected in Brooklyn. I hope he gets used to that because he's going to be disrespected everywhere he goes for the rest of his career. He'll say whatever is just in the moment popping into his head, I guess, that he thinks is a good reason to do something. But, I mean, I saw people using the clown emoji a lot on Twitter, and I'd have to agree. I mean, I hope we get to see some good basketball. I hope Luka's happy. I hope the Mavs play competitive basketball, but I don't see it. I see this as a long-term push accidentally to get Luka out, not on purpose by the Mavs, but I think it's a bad move for anybody that kind of throws their lot in with Kyrie Irving at this point when he's burned like 3 franchises, I don't know how many players, can't work along with the two of the arguably one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James, and one of the greatest scorers of all time in KD. He can't work with anybody. So I don't know. Good luck to everybody, but he's gonna burn the Mavs down too. I can't believe this dude.
All right. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to unpack there. All right. Whew. So, wow. From Dallas perspective, and we might have a Dallas Mavericks fan on here. So, um, from Dallas's perspective, they have been trying to find a number 2 for Luka since he's been in the NBA, which is like 4 or 5 years now. They've been looking for a number 2 guy. They've put some talented guys next to Luka, and either they wanted to leave or he wanted them gone. That's just the way it works. Not saying anything bad about Luka. Luka just wants to run the show, and that's fine. He's young, he's uber talented, he needs the ball in his hands. Enter Kyrie Irving. Not as young, maybe just as talented still, in a different way, and needs the ball in his hands. And I'm not even talking about the off the court bullshit right now. This trade makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. Now, did Dallas give up a lot? No, they didn't. I will say that. They did not give up a lot for Kyrie Irving. But I just don't think you make this move now, considering there's no guarantee that you're going to re-sign Kyrie in the offseason. So you made this trade. You need to sign him to an extension ASAP, because if you don't, there's a chance that he's still gonna walk, and you're still gonna continue your search to look for someone to put next to Luka, because yes, Luka does need help, but I don't think Kyrie is the answer to that, because one thing Kyrie has not proven yet in the NBA is that he can be a long-term number 2 option. He has not proven that. I've had some people tell me that the Luka Kyrie pairing would be similar to the LeBron Kyrie pairing, and they won a championship. They did, but look at how long that lasted. Okay. I don't think it'll work. I think it was desperation by the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. Do
Brooklyn were done.
you think the pressure of the moment, like Luke has been in and out, he's getting injured because of how much he's doing. Mark Cuban is frustrated because he understands the situation. Lucas seems frustrated. The media is frustrated with the Mavs this season. I mean, just in the last month, we've heard a lot of these things come out. Luka in and out of the lineup. Do you think the moment is also getting to them?
I think it is. And it's just like, oh, we have to do something, and Kyrie's the best player available. That's fine, but you have to look at fit too, especially with no player playing well alongside Luka. We're not saying Luka's a bad guy. That's not what we're talking about. But it takes sacrifice for certain pieces to mix together. And
We saw
people are like, well,
Porzingis and Brunson left,
mhm,
and both have had success away from Luka.
great. Porzingis is balling out of his mind right now. So they've had great success outside of Luca. Um, again, fit is very important. And I hear people say, well, Kyrie worked good alongside of Kevin Durant and James Harden. They were fucking taking turns playing ISO ball. They wasn't playing off of each other. If they were playing well off of each other, they would have won a fucking championship. Let's just be real. They never learned how to play well off of each other. So I don't know how this is going to work. But leading up to this, when Kyrie made his trade request, then all of a sudden the Nets were like, "Oh, he has an ankle injury. He's not going to play." I'm like, "No, he's not hurt. He's fine. Y'all just sit him until you find somewhere for him to
Mhm.
go. Let's stop all the bullshit. This is what's going on." Knowing that hindsight is 2020, and the Phoenix Suns had an offer which included Chris Paul. The Los Angeles Lakers dropped two offers on the Brooklyn Nets.
Mhm.
How surprised are you really that he ended up in Dallas and not in LA or Phoenix? Because LeBron's tweet was hilarious. It must be me.
I am surprised after seeing the offers afterward. It seemed like the owner of the Nets really had an idea for how he wanted the situation to come to a close. I think he couldn't be
Mhm.
in control in the beginning of the situation, but he was at least gonna have his way in terms of how it ended up. I think so. I think that's just him for whatever reason deciding to go with this trade in this situation. I mean, maybe just to put Kyrie in a place that he knows he at least didn't want to be at,
Mhm.
something like that. I don't know.
Well,
Um, the interesting thing, I mean, another like note is I just um, oh, what was I gonna say? I'm sorry, I had like a train of thought lost there for a second.
no, you're good.
Like the Kyrie and Luka combo being compared to the LeBron in Cleveland one is odd to me because Dallas hasn't won anything. Luka and LeBron can have similar, I guess, offensive styles. You could say and can do similar things, but in no way, shape, or form is Luka LeBron or have the experience of winning in the playoffs like LeBron. And also, if those guys don't have the chemistry and they're taking turns, that's going to be a problem in the playoffs. You can win regular season games like that, but I don't believe you can win a championship taking turns like that.
Mhm.
So I think those comparisons are a little odd for me, but I mean, I do get them. People trying to justify it, especially if you're a Dallas fan, but I don't see this really getting them long term success or a championship this year. I don't see that. Sorry, it took me a
Yeah,
minute to get there, and I really lost my train of thought for a second.
no, you're fine. Like I said, I absolutely. I spoke to a Dallas fan, and he wants it to work.
Of
But he's
course.
scared shitless. But he's scared shitless.
Hmm.
And it's just the Brooklyn Nets owner said that and let me step back for a second. I do slightly understand where Kyrie was coming from, where he said he felt disrespected in Brooklyn. I get that. The Brooklyn Nets owner didn't want to send Kyrie to where he wanted to go, which is Los Angeles. So we would have had LeBron and Kyrie together, part two. Um, how that would have turned out, who knows? Who absolutely knows? Both men are a lot more mature than they were then, even though it was more on Kyrie than it was on LeBron for their split. Um, but that's where Kyrie wanted to go, and the Nets owner was pretty much like no. And that's when Dallas, who was actually the dark horse, entered the race. Um, I think the funny thing is that once Kyrie got traded, teams started calling and saying, "Okay, what are you guys going to do with Kevin Durant?"
I know.
To the point where Brooklyn had to come out and say, "We're not trading Kevin Durant." But there has been conversations with KD and the Nets because I know right now KD's, even though he's not playing, KD's scared shitless because he's like, okay, I'm stuck here by myself. What other moves are you guys gonna make to try to make this thing work? So my question for you is, look, Spencer Dinwiddie, whatever, fuck it, you're a good player. You're not gonna lead them to a championship. Drew Holiday, I love you. What moves can the Nets make now to maintain contender status? Because they were playing a lot better, and now it's gone. There's going to be a void there. There's going to be a lot of losses there because it is all on Kevin Durant. So, do you see Brooklyn making another move between now and tomorrow that can get Kevin Durant some help
They might attempt it. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off anything substantial. I mean, Dinwiddie could just win Most Improved Player or something. I mean, he might just be that great. I have heard where I guess I've seen where people are already thinking about this, of course, and so they're trying to objectively look at Ben Simmons' contract, and they say it's like one of the worst three in the entire NBA. So I don't know how much they can do.
there?
And they haven't been given a lot of time to figure anything out. And I mean, who else of real talent is going to be traded at the deadline that wasn't Kyrie Irving? We haven't heard rumors of any big time players really getting moved. So I don't know what else they can really do. I don't know if they're going to be able to put enough around KD to convince him to stay. Like how much longer is he there by contract?
3 years.
I mean, so they kind of hold the cards, but if he just flat out says he wants to leave, we see how that's happened in the last like 5 years with stars saying they want to leave. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We can't pretend to understand what's going on in those conversations with Brooklyn and KD behind closed doors. They're definitely talking to him, figuring out what they can do. I do feel like KD seems a little more reasonable to deal with in those situations.
Yeah.
Whether or not he stays or goes, he does seem to be in the moment, be like, yeah, I mean, I like kind of get it. He was surprised by Kyrie just like everybody else. So I don't think he's necessarily upset. Well, there's rumors he was upset with the Brooklyn Nets because they didn't do the right thing, or they didn't do the things to keep Kyrie around. So if he does see it like that, those conversations would be different. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But either way, the success that Brooklyn was having, I can't imagine them continuing to have. So it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of basketball they play and what kind of spot they end up at the end of the season now after such a great start.
Right. Right. And being that my favorite team is in South Beach, anytime a competitor gets weak, I get happy because it's a chance for my team to kind of slide into that void. So yeah. So I'm pretty ecstatic because I don't think, even like I said, even though Durant went down and he'll be back shortly, I don't think Brooklyn can maintain the level of play that they had hit after all the distractions at the beginning of the season because they were finding themselves. And then you have the Ben Simmons question. Can he step up and fill a void? I don't think he's ready for that yet. And that's no disrespect to the young man. I just don't think he's ready to be put in that spotlight just yet from what I've seen from him so far this season. But stranger things has happened. I do want to back up a minute because I forgot to mention something earlier. Yesterday, you mentioned to me that you think you've heard where LeBron James calls himself the greatest, basketball player alive. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly how you said it. And we had a conversation about it offline. Forgive me, my apologies. I forgot to send you that ESPN video. But last night we had a Gloria James site. And during the festivities, when she was hugging her son, she's like, "You're the GOAT. Like, you are the GOAT." She said it a couple of times. Do you think, in the grand scheme of things, with what LeBron just did, how close is he to having GOAT status?
I think it's to the point where we we have to we have to be more specific in how we're describing this. I heard a conversation yesterday on a podcast where I think Stephen A. and some guys were debating if Tom Brady was the GOAT. And
Hmm.
I think they all agreed that yes, he was. However, they said, like Stephen A. brought up, he wasn't the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. That's Peyton Manning. And he's not the greatest Super Bowl champion of all time. That was Montana. They
Hmm.
said, but make no mistake, he was the greatest of all time. And so I think this is a similar thing because the people who believe MJ is, they're never going to get around him being perfect. In no way, shape, or form can MJ not be perfect in championships and LeBron not be, and you're going to change their mind. I don't think at this point LeBron could do anything outside of winning like more championships than Jordan, which isn't going to happen. I don't think so. I think the people that are Team Jordan are going to be Team Jordan.
Hmm.
But now there's certain things they can't deny about LeBron, like everything else he's accomplished that we've talked about over the last few weeks. The how many times he's went to the finals, the scoring record, of course, being the big cherry on top right now. Him winning with three different teams. Um, it's just you have to set the tone for you have to set the parameters for the conversation for GOAT. I don't think you can just flat out say MJ's the GOAT and not have pushback. I think it's a fair argument. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of how you see it, you're not going to convince people who lean on the Jordan being perfect in the finals. You can't take that away from them ever, no matter what LeBron James does. So I don't think I don't think this settles the argument at all. Really, it gives LeBron stands more of a step up. Now you really are right there with Jordan. If you didn't think you were before, you are now. I think so. I think there's two goats. There might even be three goats. You know what I mean, depending on who you talk to. So yeah, that's where I stand. I still don't. I don't even know for me who is in my eyes. I think
Hmm.
they're split honestly. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't think it changes the argument. MJ fans are going to be MJ fans till they die.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there was a story, Bryce, that I forgot to mention. So we're gonna talk about it, okay? Um, the NBA conducted an investigation last week into Morant and his associates. Did you hear about this?
I did.
Okay. So specifically, there was an altercation between someone on the training staff, I believe, with the Memphis Grizzlies and one of Morant's friends or brother, to where there was a laser shot at the individual that the NBA thought could have came from a weapon from a vehicle that was associated with Morant. How shocked were you when you first heard about this investigation?
I was very surprised actually because this is like something out of left field. We don't have a lot of experience uh, dealing with situations quite like this, like filtering over into the league, into the players. You have some scuffles and some altercations and some like jabbing back and forth with some social media, but you don't really ever see anything quite so serious like this. I don't think since like Arenas decided to bring a gun
Mhm.
into the arena, like nothing quite so serious like this. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised too. So I want to read a statement from the league spokesman. So the NBA security and league investigators conducted an investigation, interviewing numerous eyewitnesses and reviewing video surveillance following allegations made by the Indiana Pacers organization regarding a post-game incident on January 29th. While we have substantiated that a post-game situation arose that was confrontational based on interviews and other evidence gathered, We could not corroborate that any individual threatened others with a weapon. Certain individuals involved in the post-game situation and a related matter during the game that night have been subsequently banned from attending games in the arena. If additional information becomes available related to the post-game situation, the league office will conduct a further review. So apparently, one of Ja Morant's closest friends has been banned from attending Memphis Grizzly games at their home court for the rest of the year. Um, Kevin Durant, Ja Morant dropped the following tweets after his head coach made a comment about the situation, where he just said, "Did an investigation, seen Eric happen, still let an article come out to paint this negative image on me and my family, and banned my brother from home games for a year. Unbelievable." We've spoken a couple of times about the Grizzlies and about some of their antics. Um, do you think a conversation needs to be had with this franchise where all those young men need to be sat down and told how to conduct themselves properly and as professionals?
Um, maybe. I mean, even before this happened, this came out, I would have said maybe. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But it's hard to say who is completely right here. But I would. It'd be weird for the league or the Grizzlies to do an investigation, find nothing, but then still suspend the brother.
Mhm.
I mean, or ban the brother from games for a while. I guess there was something they know happened. Maybe it's just not to the extent that it was being made out to be. But um, yeah, the problem is whoever sits these guys down to talk to them, it has to come from the right person. Otherwise, and in the right way. Otherwise, it's going to be like a moot point. Like it would have to come from like a veteran or someone that they could respect in the right way. Because if this is just coming from just Joe Blow, then I don't think they care, or it hits home the way people want it to hit home. So I just think people need to know it's like this is a game, right? And it's just like even as things get heated or people get competitive and things get a little nuts and physical, there's no reason to bring anything off the court into this. People need to know that it's just not worth it. Hopefully it's not really to the extent that this article makes it seem, and like people are actually in danger. Hopefully none of that's true. But if it is, people just need to take a step back and really realize just what's important, because there's just no room for these antics anywhere, especially in the NBA. I mean, come on, how much how much money are all these people making around this situation, or could be affected by it? Like let's be smart. Let's just be smart.
Yeah, it is absolutely, to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not suggesting that someone's going to be hurt in a violent nature, but I am suggesting is it seems like they're snowballing. Started a little bit in the playoffs last year. A lot of talk in the off season. Now in the regular season, within what 2 weeks, we've had two incidents with them. I think commissioner needs to sit them down and tell children how to act. I'm just being real about it. And I'm always pro player. Always will be pro player. But I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. So before something else happens, there needs to be an intervention. So if it doesn't come from Adam Silver, maybe the owner, but the owner's a young kid himself, maybe he can talk to him and try to get this team corralled together, because they're too talented to be tainted by off the court slash on the court bullshit. You get what I'm saying? If you're trying to move to the next level, any kind of distraction can throw you off. And they don't need that right now.
Mm.
They absolutely don't. So that's going to be it for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. We appreciate all the love that we've been getting. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always reply back. We are out. Everyone stay safe.